The tourism industry is set to benefit from an agreement that was inked earlier this month between Carnival Cruise Line and Caribbean Maritime University. We had a chat with the university's president, Professor Andrew Spencer, to get the details. Starting with 15 of the new batch of cadets who enroll this September, 45 maritime students will get hands-on training at sea with Carnival over the next 3 years. One of Spencer's long-term goals is to see a Jamaican at the helm of a Carnival vessel. Another goal is to make CMU the university of choice for Carnival's current and potential employees. All of this ties in with CMU's goal of training 4,000 students a year and providing jobs for all who graduate.
So if you think about what we have here, we actually have a partnership that involves Carnival Cruise Lines, but Carnival Cruise Lines is just one brand under Carnival Corporation. The MOU was crafted in such a way that we have access and the ability to negotiate with the other 8 brands within Carnival Corporation. And this is not just for getting our cadets placed.
The MOU has been built on years of an informal working relationship between CMU and Carnival.
We've had some of our graduates who are quality graduates, all of them, they've received employment with Carnival Cruise Lines, and that's really what happened. So it was an attempt to formalize those arrangements over that period, but we would have had a relatively steady flow of individuals who graduated and then received jobs on Carnival. For example, on the hospitality side, we have students working in guest relations. On the deck and engineering side, we have students working in engine rooms and so on. But we have never really formalized that agreement, and so that's why March 7th was such an important date, because we've now inked that deal, a framework that helps us to roll out the partnership in a more seamless way, in a more organized and uniform way, so that we can extract greater value for the CMU and for Jamaica and for the Caribbean. We're very excited about this MOU signing. Carnival has come on board to enable us to do some key things. For our core program, which involves our seafarers, there's a requirement for sea time. There's a requirement for them to have sufficient experience in order to be employable at the end of their degree programs. What Carnival has offered to us are 15 places every year, 5 for engineering and 5 for the marine transportation students. So we are guaranteed those 15 spaces from that program through the Carnival partnership. We've had a challenge securing sea time for our students, and so Carnival is committing to ensuring every year that a minimum of 15 people get sea time on their vessels. Distinct from that is a discussion about scholarships, which is looking outside of just the Marine and Nautical Studies faculty, but at all faculties, because Carnival does have a hospitality component to what they do as well. We have a tourism program. Carnival also has the other side of their business, which is operations, and they believe that our shipping and logistics students have a role to play in that regard. So there are scholarship opportunities. That's a second prong. Another prong is the employment prospects at the end. Carnival now having the confidence in not just our theoretical delivery, but also the fact that they assisted with the practicum side of things by giving sea time and by giving internships, is also committed to providing employment opportunities at the end of that process for our students.
Spencer and his team have a lot to do to get the most out of the MOU. He's very clear on the next steps needed to achieve long-term goals that tie in with the CMU's overall strategy.
So the next immediate steps would be to target the low-hanging fruit, right? So almost immediately what Carnival is going to enable us to do, and I didn't mention before, that in the MOU there's a part of it that deals with familiarization tours. You can imagine a student coming in to do a program and not having the full experience on an actual ship, right? Even before they get to sea time and those things. What Carnival is offering us is an opportunity whenever their ship is in dock in any one of our ports for our students to be able to do familiarization tours on these ships. So that starts as quickly as next week if a ship is in port, right? So that's the first step. The other thing is that we are now working out with Carnival the value of the scholarships to be given and when we can start rolling out the scholarships. So it's more a roadmap in terms of how we operationalize elements of the MOU. We're also moving to have discussions with Carnival and a major supplier of simulators to look at what might be the best way for us to upgrade our bridge simulator at this time. to enable us to be able to customize and address more ports. And these are all things that are happening in the next month. We're to have a follow-up meeting with Carnival in the first week of May to work out the actual timelines. Now, as it relates to the placement of the cadets, that also happens immediately. That happens starting September. So as soon as September, we'll start having a determination of which students are selected to go off and get seat time with Carnival. So we're starting to roll out the 15 per year as soon as academic year 23-24. The long-term goal for me is, and I said it at the MOU signing, that really what we want to do is have a partnership so concrete with Carnival that we start exploring the potential of not only scholarships, not only job placements, not only providing business solutions, but having Carnival partner with us to the point where they're helping to develop our physical space. We're looking for naming opportunities for Carnival to help us to build out physically the space, maybe a building named after Carnival. These are things they're open to. The other idea is that we want to have a pipeline from Carnival which allows us, Carnival changes out its vessels over time. We want to be able to say that at the removal of a vessel from rotation, that Carnival considers the CMU first of all for some of those kinds of technologies that would emerge from that. Our training is so application-based that we have the need all the time for new lifeboats, for a lot of safety equipment, for all those kinds of things. We want to have that kind of pipeline arrangement with Carnival so that we are their first point of call. But even better, and more importantly in the long term, we want Carnival to start sending us their employees and potential employees for training. So we are saying, if you want to learn the Carnival way, you really ought to be at CMU. And so it's marrying those brands in such a way that they will have their own distinctness or their own distinction, but at the same time, one knows that there is something that will be synonymous about CMU and Carnival Cruise Lines. So that's really how we're moving day by day to getting that to be realized over a 5-year period. Ultimately, we would love to have the first Jamaican captain on a Carnival ship, and that's going to take some time, it's going to take some experience. We want to be able to track that. Our target for that is probably 7 or 8 years from now. The reality is that we'll know that the partnership is working when we are able to speak to the quantum of what we're able to receive from Carnival.